All right, here we go. Take 3, high school and youth sports. This context for sports, I recognize is often the least popular or the least sexy content, if you will, for students. Working for the Clippers, of course, sounds way more enticing to a college student than working for Montecito High School. But the fact remains that for some of you, Montecito may be a stepping stone, or it may even be a wonderful career path that can be both exciting and rewarding. Um, I'll stop right here and apologize in advance. I'm dealing with some sinus issues today, and because I'm not feeling as well, I'm taping this from home. I don't normally do that, so if you hear things in the background, that's my wonderful, loving wife who is making our kids lunches for tomorrow, or my dogs making noise in the background. So I apologize for that in advance. Okay, the learning outcomes, as always, are our focus. We'll stick directly to 1 through 3 here and say 4 for class. I'll start with another embedded question and answer for the content quiz that will begin class on Wednesday. So this question is: who was the University of Chicago educator responsible for promoting games and athletics and hastening their acceptance into school curricula? I don't know how anyone could not know that, but the answer is John Dewey. John Dewey. So, with 2 chapters to read, I do want to let you know that I did go a bit rogue to a certain extent, as this area of study is my research focus. You will note that the lecture is not taken directly from the text reading, as is usually the case. I would encourage you to still read. I could still take some things from the text, but for the most part, I will stick to the lecture. In addition to middle and high schools that offer interscholastic, which is competition among schools, and/or intramural sports, which is competition on campus between students in the same campus, there are national youth league organizations such as Little League International for baseball, American Youth Soccer Organization (AYSO) for soccer, and Pop Warner Little Scholars that organizes football and cheer and dance. There are also numerous Olympic sport organizations, such as the United States Tennis Association, that's pictured here, that promote and provide opportunities for youth to get involved in tennis. There's an organization for each and every sport, or just about each and every sport. And these organizations do more than just youth, or some organizations do more than just youth. They are charged with promoting the sport to all people. So, non school youth development organizations, such as the YMCA and the YWCA, Boys and Girls Clubs, police athletic leagues, these are organizations that utilize sport as one of their vehicles for furthering the development of children. There are also sport specific organizations that are focused upon youth development. Those are called sports based youth development, SBYD. And those are organizations such as the First Tee for golf, Basketball Without Borders, Girls on the Run, Junior Giants, who you know that I work with, and that's pictured here in California. Major League Baseball's Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program, and numerous others, including large international organizations. And I want to expose you to one of those now, called Right to Play. I've chosen this international organization to highlight as it is an example of sports' role in promoting social responsibility across the globe. We too often think of sport in a business sense, whether it be the millions of dollars professional athletes make or the enormity of the intercollegiate athletic business. But many people worldwide have invested a great deal of time, effort, and money to help people through sport. Right to Play is just one of those. So, what is Right to Play? Taken directly from their organization's website, their mission statement Right to Play is an international humanitarian organization that uses sport and play programs to improve health, develop life skills, and foster peace for children and communities in some of the most disadvantaged areas of the world. Working in both the humanitarian and development context, Right to Play trains local community leaders as coaches to deliver programs in more than 20 countries affected by war, poverty, and disease in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Right to Play was founded in Canada, and their story is so compelling that their strategy is to attract current and past Olympians and professional athletes to serve as ambassadors and to travel to these disadvantaged areas of the world. Michael Johnson, Joey Cheeks, Summer Sanders, Janet Evans, Phoebe Mills, Kobe Jones, and Steve Young are just a few of the over 100 U.S. ambassadors, and there are over 50 countries with ambassadors worldwide. So now let's look at career opportunities. If you think about career opportunities in high school and youth sports, the career opportunities, of course, vary depending upon the subfield and the organization. In middle and high school interscholastic sports, I assume, like I said, I assume that you all know that interscholastic means competitive athletics. But the majority of these positions are in coaching. But larger schools have larger administration budgets. Many high school athletic directors, however, are one person shows, if you will. But others have larger budgets and multiple positions. The only other paid positions generally are trainers, possibly managers, which are usually volunteer, and then, of course, officials. The YMCA, they have numerous part-time and full-time recreation leader and coordinator positions, respectively. In addition, there are numerous career jobs, and some people utilize these nonprofit managerial positions as stepping stones into more stable money granting foundation positions, such as the United Way, for an example. You can try for a job with the national or state organization, or you can go grassroots and be on the front lines of program planning and implementation in the community organizations. So, in looking at the skills that you might need, the skills necessary for these types of positions are not necessarily that much different from the ones we've talked about previously, except you need a broader skill base and the ability to multitask effectively. Obviously, knowledge and experience with child and adolescent development is critical to your success, but some organizations have expectations that this will be accomplished on the job and starting at the bottom with internships. For example, a high school athletic director has a great deal of status in athletic oriented communities, and that position may be extremely difficult to reach. Nepotism is still alive and well in some environments, so the longtime football or basketball coach may get the AD position handed to him or her. But there are increasingly examples of graduate programs focused on high school athletic administration. So that is changing with the increasing recognition of the specialized management skills necessary to juggle and satisfy numerous sports and coaches, parents, fans, student athletes, boosters, school administration, school board, the community at large, your officials, your volunteers, the band, high school athletic associations, and governing bodies. You get the picture. A high school AD has an extremely busy job, an extremely involved job. So looking at the governing bodies, speaking of governing bodies, the reading does a good job detailing the roles and responsibilities of local, state, or national governing bodies for school and youth sports. These responsibilities include the running of championships, the coordination of athletic eligibility, the dissemination of instructional information, the implementation of selected coaching and admin certification, to create and maintain stated rules and guidelines for member institutions, to apply and enforce rules and guidelines equitably and consistently. Speaking of equity, another important element is being sure to comply with Title IX. As you all should know, Title IX of the Educational Amendment in 1972 called for gender equity for those organizations receiving any degree of federal funding. So this applies to almost all schools, public or private. The private aspect comes in because of federal grants and tax breaks given to private schools. Title IX was a landmark amendment that helped to change the culture of female sport participation from one where participation was viewed as auxiliary to some it was even unladylike, to a culture now where females participating in sport is a natural and nearly fully accepted part of our society. I say nearly because, surprisingly, there are still lingering issues and remarkably still debate over Title IX. One of the reasons why I put a wrestling picture up here is because of short-sighted administrators, and you've heard me talk about this before, short-sighted administrators cutting men's sports in order to comply with Title IX, a really short-sighted way of looking at it. At any rate, local, state, or national governing bodies for school and youth sports uh, actually could have some really good, excellent internships for you. As the directors are usually experienced administrators that serve an important role that requires a great deal of planning, organization, and a high degree of efficiency. If interested, I also recommend you looking at opportunities with the California Interscholastic Federation. I'm sure some of you have heard of CIF, or many of you have heard of CIF. Okay, so with the current challenges, I hope we'll have a vibrant discussion about the challenges facing high school and youth sports in class on Wednesday. Don't forget about the embedded content quiz question and answer at the beginning of this lecture. Okay, see you in class.